What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dad's Expensive Hobby.
What's up?
Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Maximum Series Spider-Man. This has been kind of a impromptu little video. Amazon delivered this a couple of days ahead of schedule, and when I got home this was sitting on the porch, so I had to do a video on it tonight while it's like fresh in my brain. This is the second of the Maximum Series figures from Marvel Legends that I own. Of course, the first one being the Hulk figure that my video kind of had some mixed reactions to. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I'll give it a link or whatever somewhere up here at the top of the screen. But this Maximum, box is a little bit different. It's much smaller and obviously different colors than the Hulk one was, but it looks pretty good. Nice big window on the front. I really do like that. Nice upside down image of Spider-Man on the side, and a really big image of him here on the back. Looks pretty good. The Maximum Series boxes are not too shabby. But let's get him out of this box and take a closer look at him. Okay. Right out of the box, glancing at him, you know what? This is my first comic book, based Spider-Man. I only have one other one, and it's that MCU, the Bully Maguire. If you didn't check out that video, check it out. I don't like that figure. But first glance and in the hand of this one, I think I'm going to like this one. But let's see how tall he is really quick, and then we'll move on. To the top of his head, he's right at 6¼ inches. And the entire figure is just south of 16 centimeters. And that'll work out, I guess. I don't know if he's supposed to be that tall or not. It doesn't really matter. Aesthetic-wise, this figure looks really good. His proportions look really, really nice. Nice and muscular, but lean and stuff. I have 4 quick little gripes about the aesthetic, and then I'll sing its praises for a couple minutes, okay? Gripe number 1 is right here in the paint on this bicep, and this bicep alone. It's really kind of fuzzy and a little bled over, like something happened right there with the transition from the red into the blue. Okay, I have a problem with the way these hips look a little bit, and I'll show you what I'm saying. See how that rounds up right there? It shouldn't really look like that. They could have shaved that down a little bit and kind of saved the look of the hip. And on the front, and then I'll show you that one on the back, is these mold lines. If the camera is showing you, see how they're going down the front of the figure? That doesn't look really good. A place where you want mold lines on a figure is down the side, something that's not right up in your face the second when you look at it from the front, because that's typically where we look at our figures, is from the front. So that's a little bit of a complaint there. If they were going to have mold lines, which I wish they didn't, they would have been down through here. See how on the hip there's a mold line there on the hip, on the side, but here it's on the front, on the thigh, knee, all the way down through the shin. That's a little annoying. My last complaint, the spider on the back looks good, but when you do that,
what is that?
That looks a little, that's not awesome. I don't really like that well. I guess I can kind of see why they maybe did that, but when you flex his butterfly, the legs stretch out, and that doesn't look really good. It goes from like a spider to the Nazca lines in South America. But anyways, if you don't know what that is, look them up. But that's the extent of my complaints. Let's sing its praises for a minute, because this thing has got tempo all over it, and it's done fantastically. I have no smudging or non-marrying up lines really anywhere in any of this web lining. It looks really good head to toe, and on the extra head as well. Looks really good, and on the extra hands. So bravo Marvel for that. The web lining looks really, really good. Spider on the front looks good. The little bit of paint there is in places other than that one spot that I already mentioned looks really nice. A little glossy.
How dare you?
Not like glossy, but he's a little shiny. I would have liked to have seen a matte finish on him, especially for a $50 figure. I would have liked to have seen a little bit duller of a finish on him. But this figure is, so far, I'm really happy to have him. He looks really good, like really, really good. But that is really the extent of what I've got for his aesthetic. It's pretty good, other than them 4 small complaints, and a couple of them could have just be my, well, at least one of them could just be my figure. The other ones, I figure they all have that same problem. Anyways, let's check out his accessories, and that way we can kind of find out whether or not this guy is actually worth $50. He comes with 3 different head sculpts. Comes with this one on him in the package, this head right here. And it looks really, really good, and it's just like the 2 wide open eyes. He also comes with this other Spidey head, and it's like with one eye maybe squinted a little bit more than the other. And honestly, I'm kind of an idiot, and it took me a minute of comparing them to figure out what the actual difference was. But it looks really good, and the webbing and everything on it are done spectacular. And then we get this kind of Peter Parker head here. And I guess it's just, it could be a comic or whatever. It's not supposed to necessarily look like anybody in particular. The paint's done pretty well on it. We've got the nice green eyes. The lip paint is done good. The hair sculpting is done really good. I wish there was a wash in the hair, but there isn't. And that kind of sucks, I guess, a little bit. And one little complaint, if you can see that right there, there's like some kind of brown or brownish black smudging. I don't know if it's from eyebrow paint or what, but it's on my figure. I could probably get that off her, and I will, but I shouldn't have to, especially for a $50 figure. So that's a little annoying. Marvel, stop doing that. Or not Marvel, Hasbro, stop doing that. But other than that, I mean, it looks okay. I mean, it's just some generic kind of dorky looking face or whatever. It'll work. A little too hyper real for me. I wish that that Hasbro, would quit doing that, because, I mean, they're kind of making comic book characters with hyper realistic faces, and I'm not a big fan of that. But let's move on to his hands, because he's got a shitload of those. I think he came with 10. Comes with the 2 fist hands on him in the package. They're just fine, and the webbing looks really good on him. He comes with these 2 separate like web slinging hands. He's got one here and one various stage of web slinging. Then he's got another one that's a little further along in the web slinging process, and it looks pretty good. The webbing on it is just that like clear, flexible plastic. They both look really good. Then he comes with these 2 web slinging hands, but without the webbing, and they look really good, and the webbing tempo is done very, very well. He comes with 2 gripping hands. I'm going to assume it's for the web ropes that we'll look at here in a minute, but these 2 hands look pretty good. I like those. 2 wall crawly hands right here, and they look really nice. They may have forgotten a little bit through there, but I'm not going to rake them over the coals for that, because they still look pretty good. And he comes with these 2 interchangeable forearm and hand pieces right here, and these look really good. I'll pop his wrists off here in a minute and show you what they look like on him. My only complaint is they don't have a hinge on the wrist. These are fixed, so that's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. Of course, we've all seen his little crown that he can put on here, and I know that's for the Spidey sense, and that looks really cool and all that, but at a glance, it kind of looks like some kind of Aztec god or emperor or something right there. Looks cool because I know what it is, but if I was somebody that didn't know anything about Spider-Man, I'd be like, why does he have that weird crown on his head? But it does look cool, and it's just thin plastic. All right, he comes with 4 different sets of like webbing. These 2 very flexible like web ropes right here, and they're done really well. I don't really know what you would do with them. I'm not super creative with posing or setting up any shots or anything like that, but they do look cool. They're nice and pearlescent and done very well and nice and flexible. He also comes with this kind of cloudy, I don't even know if this is acrylic, it's a soft stand right here, and I kind of wish it wasn't cloudy. I wish it was clear acrylic, but it's good enough, I suppose. And then right here, we all know what this kind of resembles, but I'm not even going to be dirty and say it, but this is a big wad of, I'm going to call it webbing, and you can plug it in right there, and it looks pretty cool nonetheless. He's got like this web funnel right here, and I do like this a lot. This looks pretty awesome. Nice and flexible, same material as the ropes and stuff, and it looks pretty darn good. And this one, I do like this one pretty well. It's like a web shield or whatever, and it's got a thing that kind of pops out, and you can clamp it onto his wrist. And I like this, and it's got some sort of painting in there to kind of give it a little bit of depth, if I'm showing you that, and I like it pretty well. So yeah, this is a harder plastic. It looks the same as this stuff, but this is much harder, a little flexible, but it's kind of hard and shaped like a shield, obviously, and I like it pretty well. So, real quick question before we do like some side-by-sides with other figures. Do we think that spread made this guy worth $50?
Nope.
Probably not. I'm just going to diatribe for just a second. Probably not. Yeah, he's probably a little overpriced. So far, 2 for 2 with the maximum series as far as being overpriced. Do I think that the quality of this figure makes up for that gap of maybe some value? Yeah, because this is a darn good figure. I want to go ahead and tell you, I like this Spider-Man. It kind of makes me glad I've started collecting with this one versus the other ones, because that Peter Parker one really made me mad. But anyways, let's stand him next to some other figures really quick and see how he looks with them. Let's just start with a random Marvel Legend. Let's start with Deadpool right here. Boxer's Deadpool. Excuse me. And Deadpool is a little bit taller, but I think they look pretty cool. Let's put him next to Flash Thompson, Agent Venom right here. And they're about the same height. Maybe Flash Thompson is like a bigger character, but they look pretty good. Let's stand him next to my most favorite figure of all time, the Bully Maguire, that Spider-Man 3 figure that I did a video on just about a week or so ago. If you haven't checked that video out, check it out. And they look pretty cool. This one's a little bit taller, so I don't know if it's supposed to be like that, but either way, this one is blowing this one completely out of the water. Next, let's stand him next to his Maximum series cohort, the Maximum Hulk. And I think they both look pretty good. Check out my video on Maximum Hulk. It'll either piss you off or you'll be like, yeah, man, I agree with you. Either way is fine. And this figure right here, the Gamerverse Venom, so huge I can't even get him in the screen, and I'm not going to try. But look right there, Maximum Spider-Man doesn't even come up to his waist, but they look really, really good next to each other. I think this figure is a little overrated. Check out my video on it. But it's still a good figure nonetheless. But it's got a little more hype than it should have. Real quick, I want to do a head swap and just show you something that I thought was pretty interesting. Somebody else may have done it already. If they have, skip past this if not. But you can put the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man head on this, and I think that looks pretty good. Other than the neck looking just a little long, I think that looks pretty darn good, to be quite honest with you. And just for fun, let's put Deadpool's head on him if we can, and see how Deadpool's head looks on this Spider-Man really fast. A little loose, but looks kind of cool. Whatever. I just wanted to do that really quick. But let's take a look at his articulation, because he moves pretty darn good, especially for a Marvel Legend, but in general. His head will look down really well. It'll look up fantastic. Not so well in the nuance, like the side to side, and that is because they used that kind of ball hinge.
Son of a bitch!
And I don't really like this. I wish they would quit doing it. Yes, they look up and down really good, but you don't get any other kind of movement out of them. Luckily for this figure, his neck is definitely on a ball peg down in there, and his neck moves really good. So when you use the two in conjunction, the neck kind of functions like a peg for the ball up here at top. So you can still get a good amount of stuff, but it could have been done better. Shoulders go out to 90 with no problem. So I'm happy about that. Of course, full rotation. And let's do this really quick. Check out this butterfly. This works really nicely. Look at that all the way across the body. Very, very nice. You can cross these arms over right there. This kind of butterfly range of motion rivals that of the SH Figuarts Gogeta. I'll do a video on him, like a figure flashback type video or something on him, because he's kind of an older figure. But that is really awesome, and they go back really well. So I really like this butterfly, and the sculpt remains, and the paint, except for that right there, and it looks really, really good. Bicep swivel works just fine. Double jointed elbow, plenty of range. Doesn't look grotesquely horrible. Not the best looking elbow ever, but that's pretty decent. He has a wrist swivel right here, and his wrists are on a hinge. It's that rubber, it's that soft, like kind of gummy plastic a little bit. I wish they wouldn't use that, because it kind of, sometimes if a joint is stiff, you kind of worry you're going to break the figure. But they do work. Now this abdomen right here, he's got a diaphragm brake right here that will bring him forward about like that on its own, and back about like that on its own. You could tilt side to side really well and move it all around. I think that's probably a double ball peg up in there, and it works just fine. Now this does have that upside down ab crunch. Don't really like them, But this one works really well, and it looks pretty decent back there. I don't want to faint. That's pretty darn good. And add the diaphragm brake into it, and you can really crunch this guy up. It'll go forward, and it'll go back really well. So far, so good with his articulation.
Thank you.
Now his hips. They are ball pegs with like a hinge, so they're drop downs. Not my favorite thing ever. And they'll kick out to about right there. Not a complete split, which is a bit of a letdown for a Spider-Man, but that's pretty good range, so I'm going to call it good enough. Even with that drop down, look at that looks like crap. But I don't like drop downs. But anyways, he'll front kick pretty good. He's got some spider booty. But if you utilize the drop down a little bit, you can kick his leg back a little bit. I just wish they would stop doing like firm booties on these things so that it doesn't limit the movement at all. He's got a thigh swivel, doesn't look too horrible. Double jointed knee. Oh, and I forgot to mention elbows are pinless, knees are pinless. Nice proportions, works really, really well. Now this shin swivel does have one. That looks like shit.
What the fuck is that?
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. They should have either maybe had it up higher where it was a little bit thinner and rounder, or lower down in the ankle where it was thinner and rounder to not have that, or you maybe redo the ankle and the ankle just be a ball hinge or something and give some swivel there, because that doesn't look very good at all. Ankle is a hinge. We'll go all the way down. Goes up pretty good. Nice ankle rocker. This Spider-Man has a toe hinge. Not super loose, and it's pinless as well. It's nice and flush down here. Don't know why the tip of the toe is hollow. Don't know why. It doesn't really matter. Maybe a little far back on the toe, but it works, and I don't want to vomit from it. And the feet have peg holes. So, overall, this thing's articulation is pretty darn good. Maybe the split's a little bit better, and maybe no drop down hips because you don't need them to do a full split. If you don't believe me, ask Jada Toys. They know how to do it without question. But either way, he moves really, really well. Again, this is the only comic Spider-Man I have, so I can't base my thoughts, based off of any other like previous Spider-Mans. I've heard this is the best one. I can see that it probably is. This Spider-Man is really darn good, and I'm not a big fan of Marvel Legends articulation, but this is pretty darn good. I like the spread of accessories. Ooh, before we move on, I promised I would show you what the wrist looked like swapped out, and I didn't do it. If I can get this on there. And that's what it looks like right there. Looks pretty good, I guess. Kind of makes him look like Inspector Gadget a little bit. That looks robotic or something, like he's a cyborg, or like that's Luke Skywalker's arm from Empire Strikes Back. But and it sucks that there are no wrist hinges for those arms, but they're pretty cool nonetheless. All right, back to what I was saying. Is this guy worth $50? Yes and no. Yes and no. I'm not mad that I paid $50 for it, but it could have been cheaper. We could have done without a little bit of this stuff and been just fine. Like, we could have had just one web slinger hand and then one normal one, which would have got rid of two right there. We didn't really need a Spidey sense, but we got it. We definitely didn't really need these at all. That could have been gone. One of the ropes could have been gone. One of these two could have been gone, or that, or something. And this could have been, a $35 release. But it's $50 and we all paid it, so whatever. I'm going to rate this figure. I'm going to give this an A- because I like this figure much more than I thought I was going to. This is a pretty good release. It kind of makes me want to start collecting Spider-Man figures, but since this is supposed to be the best one, I don't want to downgrade, so I probably won't. But at least I might collect Spider-Man figures moving forward after this one. But that's really all I've got for Maximum Spider-Man. I'm kind of maxed out on him. He's pretty darn good. I recommend him. I highly recommend him. If you've got the 50 bones to shell out for it, get him. You will not be disappointed. But with all that said, this has been Dad with Dad's Expensive Hobby, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.